Onslaught. Onslaught was a sentient psionic entity created from the consciousness of two extremely powerful mutants. Professor Charles Xavier and Magneto. During the psionic contact, Magneto's anger, grief, and lust for vengeance entered Professor Xavier's consciousness, commingling with every long-suppressed negative feeling the professor had endured during the last 30 years. This aggregation resulted in a separate personality forming within Professor Xavier, the being known as Onslaught. Onslaught possessed all of the mutant abilities of his progenitors Professor X and Magneto. He later also added the powers of the Omega-level mutants Franklin Richards and Nate Gray to his, making him incredibly more powerful. In effect, with few appearances while in his prime, Onslaught managed to create a second sun from nothing via reality warping and physically match a Banner-less Hulk. Onslaught has the power to shape and manipulate magnetic fields that exist naturally or artificially. He can draw magnetic force from outside himself or can also generate magnetic force within himself. Onslaught's power is psionic and physiological in nature. He can lift, move, and alter objects. Onslaught can project metal at an unparalleled velocity and place tremendous pressure on metallic substances to liquefy and reshape them, manipulate the iron-enriched blood flow to one's brain to induce aneurysms or unconsciousness, redirect the flow of blood through one's brain to alter thoughts and perceptions or blank a person's mind completely, levitate a person or control a person's actions by manipulating the iron in their bloodstream, remove the iron from the bloodstream entirely through a person's skin, control ferrous particles in the atmosphere, alter the Earth's magnetic field which extends into space as the magnetosphere, prodigiously increase his own strength to superhuman levels, and achieve a wide range of other effects. Onslaught has some ability to project or manipulate any form of energy that is related to the electromagnetic spectrum. He can fire and absorb bolts of electricity and magnetic force, reverse lasers and other forms of radiation or energy, create enough intense heat as infrared radiation to level a city, and become invisible by deflecting visible light around his body. Heat or infrared radiation is part of the electromagnetic spectrum, which also includes visible light, radio waves, ultraviolet light, gamma rays, and X-rays. Onslaught can project any of these. Onslaught can maintain total control of an entire planet's electromagnetic field and can manipulate it accordingly. He has also dispersed a flame cage created by the Human Torch, but whether he had simply expanded his personal force field or employed something else entirely is unclear. Onslaught once used his powers to create a stable wormhole between 2 points in space. As a psychic entity, Onslaught had the ability to absorb any mutant into his being and thus permanently gain their powers for himself. X-Man and Franklin Richards were two mutants that he consumed to increase his vast power. Someone absorbed is completely dominated without consent when their willpower is inferior to the control exerted. Onslaught is possessing the knowledge of combat that both Xavier and Magneto have learned over the years. Onslaught is particularly adept at using all of his powers in combat situations, typically preferring to combine certain aspects of different abilities for different situations. He is a skilled manipulator with and without his powers. He has tricked his enemies into doing exactly what he wished to do multiple times. When combining his genius-level intellect and his telepathic abilities, Onslaught could detect any anomaly and immediately apply his countermeasures.